And... Whoops, wrong thing. There we go. There we are. How's it going, my man? Hello, sir. Sorry about that, everybody. Pushing the wrong button happens when you get excited.
I didn't know it. What did you do?
Absolutely nothing. Everything's fine. As it always
Oh,
is.
okay. No, I can see you're lying. I just saw something pop up.
No, don't watch the footage. First of all, it's rude that you're not looking at me in the eyes, sir. If I can put that out there.
I had to check.
Gotta make sure. How you doing, my man?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing good. Busy, but hey, busy beats boredom, doesn't it?
Yeah, and doing stuff like this is a break from the insanity. That's what D&D is for me. It's a chance to escape and have fun, and the chats with you are just a little cherry on top at the end of our D&D weekend.
Absolutely. Yeah, 100%. I look forward to it. I look forward to any time I do anything. Honestly, anytime I do anything for this channel. I'm like, great, the chats. Oh, great, a game. Oh, great, I'm just, thank God. When this becomes the future job, it's going to be fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we got a fun episode today.
Do we?
Yeah. Well, because for one sake, you know what? We're going to stand true to the mantra of the first thing we're going to talk about. And that is wild magic. We're going to continue that little conversation after an individual asked us. I don't know. We spoke about it pretty much. So I don't know how long we're going to stick on wild magic. But we'll see.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, last time we chatted about it. And just, I don't know, before we get started, a reminder to anybody in the chat, please ask questions. It doesn't even have to be topically on wild magic or magic items or what we're talking about. Just, keep it on D&D, I suppose.
Yeah.
But I say that because I know someone in the chat, at least one person, will take advantage of I say, ask anything.
Ask anything.
D&D related.
Remember that, Tom? Yeah.
Right. But yeah, no, feel free. Chat about your opinions on stuff, questions you have, so on and so forth. Light up the chat. Just go for it.
Absolutely, yeah. Any cool things? Yeah. Any cool things you remember? A cool experience about what we're talking about? Share it.
Yeah.
We're down. We're here to be nerds and nerd out.
Yeah. Love hearing about the stuff from other people. So you have even taken notes from stuff that other people have stated in the chat. So it's like, oh, that's a fantastic idea. I'm definitely stealing that from their DM or whatever.
The first part of this episode is pretty much that. It's like, oh, that was a great idea. We're gonna use that.
Yeah. But like you said, we talked a bit about at decent length about wild magic last time.
Mm-hmm.
So we can jump on from there. Just our thoughts about some of it. Maybe even actually look at the player's handbook listing maybe a little bit, see what we think about some of the effects.
Oh, yeah.
I also, out of curiosity, because the individual, and I don't know if they're here or not, forgive me if that I forgot the name, their tag down there, but they did mention AD&D, the Advanced Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh, yes, that's
second edition way quite some time ago. And I did, out of curiosity, I looked up some stuff on it because the both of us are new
we're
to
5e
D&D.
babies. Yeah.
Yeah, we are. I haven't even, though I know some things about it, I've not even played Pathfinder, which is a lot more recent too.
Oh, yeah.
Though many years old itself. But I was looking at some of the stuff. There's a lot of lore that went into the wild magic and continues to go and develop and change edition to edition.
Yeah.
But I did look at the table, and it was interesting. That wild magic table definitely is one result for every single number on the D100.
Bizarre.
Whereas the 5th edition player's handbook just has
every 2, right?
It's about 50. Yeah, it's like 50 results, which is fine.
It's still a shit ton. Like, that's a lot.
Yeah. But there's good stuff. It seems to be mostly that Advanced Dungeons and Dragons version seems to be mostly target aimed, which is ideal.
Yeah.
But there's some stuff like there's some I'm just gonna, if you don't mind, share a couple I thought were particularly amusing.
Beautiful.
Because I like the funny ones.
Yeah.
So, like, on a roll of 53, the caster and the target exchange voices until a remove curse is cast. Like,
Oh.
the kind of stuff that you can have so much fun with that,
Yeah.
as well as mess up some things for the caster. Is I mean, the possibilities they're almost endless.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember. I see the whole list here, but there's great. The caster speaks in a squeaky voice for 1d6 days.
Oh my word.
Which is amazing, especially if you're into role playing. That is fantastic.
Absolutely.
Oh man, silence being cast on the caster, like in a 15-foot radius. That's a heck of a nasty thing. Yeah. But yeah, and it's got the great enhancements to the target being affected. You know, the wild magic casts a fireball on the target, or blinds them, or whatever. But it was fun reading through some of them, seeing some of the similarities and some of the differences. There's some that held over to 5th edition,
yeah,
and a lot of other stuff that didn't.
That must have been an interesting process for the people that were like transferring things over. Been like, which ones are we feeling are good? Yeah. Which ones are the ones won't stick?
Yeah, what do we keep? What do we change up? What do we enhance? What do we?
Yeah, like if there was a group meeting, or if someone was just in charge of that, I was like, okay,
right. But it's it's interesting to see how far it's come in a couple of editions like that. I say a couple. I don't want to say 3 editions, because there's been 3.5, and then if you count Pathfinder as its own edition or a different game entirely, I'm sure different opinions on that.
Sure,
but it's interesting to see what has changed and what has stayed the same. Man, just dipping my toe into AD&D.
Yeah,
that's an interesting world full of a lot of complex things. I gotta say, and that's just looking at it just briefly. So it's interesting.
Yeah, it's a beast of its own, man. It truly is. Yeah.
But wild magic.
Yeah, I'm attracted to one thing about wild magic, and it makes sense because it's me, and this relates to the underdog, and I fucking adore the underdog so much. But
it's great. We talked about that a couple episodes ago or whatever.
Yeah.
How we both love the Underdark.
Oh, 100%. So not to get too distracted into the Underdark, because I will do it. But we played a game before we started Icewind Dale for the show. The same crew, we played a Out of the Abyss campaign, where it all takes place inside the Underdark, and then there's this whole section that, as the DM, you get to delightfully indulge, called the Fezres. Yeah, the Fezres, that one. Which is basically, it's this giant sort of strange kind of ethereal energy that pervades inside the Underdark. And it's believed that like this huge source of chaotic magic, which the strongest theory behind it is that occurred when the Drow were cast out, when Loth was defeated during the fight and everything, and that's when the Phasers kind of occurred, and as a result, like that created the birth of ideally some people that are affected by wild magic, because all the effects of the Phasers that that affect people in particular ways, like when they're casting magic or anything else, that's when wild magic starts to take place. And there's just people could randomly teleport, people have wild magic rolls to just determine what happens inside the Phasers, and divination doesn't work while you're inside that field as well, so there's no form of divination that could possibly work while inside it. So it's just this giant field that just pervades throughout the Underdark, consisting of wild magic that just fucks with people and drives people mad. It's fucking incredible. So
Yeah, no, I've never actually, I've not played a character that associates to wild magic, like wild magic sorcerer, though it has been present in games that I've run. There's a new wild magic barbarian, I think, in Tasha's, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I have not, I have not really experienced that as a player, but the chaos that it does bring is it's just fantastic.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I'm not so that said, I'm not as well versed on the lore behind why it exists.
Yeah.
Other than chaos is woven into everything.
Pick a
to
thing.
nature. Yeah, it's woven into the real world chaos.
Exactly.
But it's woven into D&D as a whole.
Yeah.
So it thrives on chaos.
Absolutely. I mean, it's a great way to create a character if you want to leave a lot into the DM's hands with your backstory. Like, there's a lot about me that I don't know that I would love to explore, and you do wild magic, it just that opens it up for the DM to just have fun and plant some payoffs. They used to be a genie.
Yeah.
They were a djinn at some point, and now they can't control their power because they're a pesky little mortal, or something along those lines. And they can have so much fucking fun with wild magic. Ooh, this music just got intense. Okay.
Still can't hear it on my side.
Oh, sorry. Well, take my word from it.
Yeah, I believe it. I'll act like I'm jamming to it.
Yeah.
It's probably not a jam though, is it?
No, I'm afraid it's not. Alrighty, so what's up? So what's up?
Sorry, I just saw the comment. I've never seen someone play an uptight wild magic sorcerer. That would be cool. Yeah, I could see playing
cool.
playing into that a little bit. This desire to keep everything in control, but your magic just won't let you do that.
Yeah,
that would be like being unable to fully control your magic and being upset about it, and maybe even trying to hide it from the group, that you don't act like, no, I totally meant to do that. I meant to accidentally blow myself up. It was all part of my master plan. We're alive. we're alive, right? Yeah, I like playing against the typical sometimes. And I know that playing a pretty straightforward and what you would expect a player character in our stream is contradicting what I'm saying, but I love playing against. I do love playing against type. So
yeah,
I think that's fun stuff. That was actually a question I had planned for another chat. Was like, what combinations do you think are some of the most absurd, but in and of itself would be really fun to do? As far as nice. Like racing class and stuff like that. It's a little off subject, but we kind of veered there a little bit. I love the idea of halflings doing anything fighting related, whether they're barbarians or fighters or monks or whatever. I think it's absolutely hilarious, and it's so much to play that way. I did a halfling blood hunter and just had a blast with it. It was so much fun.
Awesome, man.
Yeah.
I mean, stats wise, they're also fucking incredible. A halfling for that, just because lucky. That goes with literally any fucking class, bro.
Oh sure, yeah. Absolutely.
Oh yeah. That's great. No, I mean, there's a few things that, I mean, if we're just talking like a wild magic sorcerer, there's a lot of multi-class options with that are fucking incredible. Aside from, of course, the new barbarian that is wild magic, you know.
Sure.
But, I mean, shit, everything uses fucking charisma in 5e. Like,
there's quite a few.
Yeah. Paladin, warlock, sorcerer, bard. That
might be it. But either way, that's still 4.
That's 4.
Classes.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it's a decent amount.
Yeah, it's a decent enough amount. Yeah.
Yeah, because there's like 2 wisdom, 2 intelligence if you count when no, 3 wisdom, I guess. Either way.
Yeah, true. Clerics.
But as far as like primary spellcasters go, having bard, warlock, and sorcerer alone being direct, like that is their thing. Spellcasters, even if you count the paladin out, that's still 3 charisma casters. So yeah, it kind of dominates 5e a little bit.
It is. It's a good stat. I mean, it's a pretty broad one as far as everything else goes. You know, it covers literally your charisma, your charming, but your willpower and your perspective. And it's a fun stat to base yourself around. Oh, sorry, I've seen there's a question that we got. Would you ever consider adding homebrew ideas to the wild magic table tailored to the sorcerer? Oh, hell yeah.
100%. That's a fantastic idea.
Yeah.
Adding different results based on how they're playing the character's background, events that happen to them on their adventure. Absolutely, that's a fantastic idea.
Yeah. I mean, sorry, I hope I'm not calling out one or two of the people inside the chat when I bring this up, but I remember you telling me you had a player who was terrified of rats at some point. Their character was terrified of rats.
Oh, yeah,
because of an early character.
By rats. Yeah.
So, like, imagine, just imagine at some point that character was a wild sorcerer or something. At some point, ends up just rolling on the table and just summons a bunch of rats everywhere.
Yeah, summons.
And they just go savage and,
polymorph somebody into a rat, something like that. Oh, yeah, it'd be great.
Oh, wait, you and I played a game way back when we were getting the first team together when the character had a certain, like, safety word, and she would switch between personalities between it. And then when she was involved with, like, an area of wild magic, she, like, one of the things that she could roll for was changing from one personality back to the other. So it would be hot between, like, her safety word now and wild magic.
Right.
Yeah. If the table is the same for all wild magics, is it really that chaotic? I mean,
that's not a bad point.
Yeah.
I mean, kind of the way it's designed. If you're just taking it as it's written in there, wild magic hardly ever occurs.
Yeah.
So realistically, there wouldn't be a lot of overlap, even if you had an entire group of wild magic sorcerers. That's why I've seen that as something that is home house ruled the most, and homebrewed different versions of how to do it to get it to occur more often.
Yeah, 100%. Like, I do agree with that. I love the one you brought it up last session, how the DM would allow it to stack. So they would cast for it, and then they would roll for it, and, you didn't roll a 1 because of course you didn't. Then his chances would double the next time he would do it. It'd be like a 2 or 1.
Yeah, it would go up to 2. Yeah. And then it would go to 3 if they succeeded again. I think that's a great way, and I think it makes sense even from the magic standpoint, almost like the pressure is building up for it to explode. I think that was a really great way of handling it.
Absolutely.
And I think I did a one-shot at some point with people that were involved in that same group.
Oh, nice.
And they're like, can we use that method? And I was like, yes, hell yes, absolutely. Beautiful. We want it to happen, right?
Yeah, exactly. And
so I was
come to think of it, what we were just talking about, the other previous character, the uptight sorcerer who would much prefer people didn't know he didn't have control over that. That mechanic with him would be crazy, because at some point he'd be like sticking to cantrips, and his teammates were like, fucking help, and he doesn't want it because he could roll. He's at like 5.
He's terrified of losing control.
Yeah.
No, I like that a lot. I think that's great.
Oh, that's a great.
And if they're a sorcerer, they probably have like high deception, so it'd be difficult for people to figure out that they're lying about it.
Probably.
Yeah.
Oh man, I hate to bring up another podcast, because I do that quite often. But I used to listen to this great channel, and I say used to listen. I just don't have the time anymore. It's called D&D, Dinner and Dungeons and Dragons, and it's solely a podcast adventure, homebrew adventure. And there's one point where they have a wild magic sorcerer on the team, like a wild magic sorcerer. They had a ranger. They had 2 rangers, and then a rogue, and then the sorcerer, and then a bard. And they were at like this big fancy party, like this big to-do thing where everyone's dancing. And the wild magic sorcerer is a really young elf, and so he was just kind of annoyed that everyone was having this boring time, and he wanted to get everyone up and dance. And so he gets everyone up to start dancing, and he starts bringing people up on his feet, and he's rolling really well, and he's getting like the party to start dancing. And one of the characters one of the rangers was like really nervous to dance, and he was like, "Oh dude, don't worry, I got your back." And so he was like teaching the ranger how to dance, and then he was describing the dance moves and everything that he wanted to do. And so the DM was making him roll for that, and he was doing really well. And then he was like, and then, you know, at the end of it all, I'm gonna cast color spray into the air or whatever. And then he was like, cool, roll me d20, and rolled a 1, and then it ended up being a fireball, and it just, and he killed like 6 of the old ladies that he was dancing with. One of the players was unconscious, and like they just got stormed by guards, and so they're carrying their dead friend away like through these corpses of dead people, and it was just complete utter chaos. It just went the entire. What? Bedlam, you've met Chelsea and James. I know Chelsea and James. Yeah, they're from D&D. That's incredible. Good on you. That's wonderful. Oh man. Oh then shit, I better get in touch with them. Be like, I know Bedlam. What up? What up, James? What up, Chelsea? That's cool. So yeah, it was just a great moment inside that podcast that I was like, this is fucking incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it all went to shit solely because of Wild Magic, and it ended up being like the most entertaining fucking moment out of like the whole podcast for me, because it was just at the last thing, picked up by the DM on the spot, and after that chaos ensued. It was awesome.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. We had a party and we just blew it up. Yeah.
Yes. And then the ranger who didn't like dancing, never danced again. He was afraid. He was like, every time I dance, people die. It's a great podcast. I highly recommend it if you're looking for a podcast that's not us.
I might have to check it out. I've tried a couple and I haven't stuck with too many of them.
Sure.
I don't know, get a little bored, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, it's that sounds fun. I might have to check that out.
Yeah, it's good stuff, man.
Especially if Bedlam Beersy seems to like it too.
Hell yeah, Bedlam. He knows what's up. Alrighty, I guess we might as well segue over to magic items, right?
I have an excellent segue. Speaking of
beautiful,
the gentleman known as Bedlam Beersy.
Okay.
This is an individual I actually know, and gave myself and my wife a fun little gift. And we have our own magic item now. I have a tote of holding.
Look at that.
And I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, it is from Cantrip Candles, a like D&D inspired candle shop that he lives near.
Awesome.
And it is fantastic. Cool. It is absolutely fantastic, as well as another item that I brought over but cannot find. Oh, there it is. A little, I don't know why you can see it in here in the plastic. It's a token of inspiration.
I was about to say, it looks like an inspiration token. That is awesome.
Yeah, so you can hand it to a player if you feel so inclined. Very neat little gifts.
Nice. I mean, like I've said, you guys know me. I love toys. More toys the merrier, man.
So, speaking of magic items,
yes.
There's your segue.
Oh, but mariachi. All right, what's one magical item you would love to have in real life?
Oh, that's a great and very difficult question.
That is tough because I mean, there's
not the deck of many things.
There's a small part of me that wants to deck of many things.
Well, it's the whole like you could lose your soul and stuff like that.
Yep, that's very true.
Yeah,
depends on where I am inside my life.
One of your closest friends could suddenly want to kill you. That kind of stuff.
Oh yeah, that's true. Somewhere out there that just could change.
Man, I don't know. There's a lot of good ones.
So there's like the practical part of me is like, I mean, alchemy jug, and then you've got a no cost, constant selling object. You can just keep creating things and keep selling it for complete profit. So there's part of me that's like, oh, I mean, that's just great. That's a great thing to have.
The catnap pillow. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh my word! I would patent that.
I don't even really take naps. They don't make me feel that great, but I think if I had the catnap pillow, I would use it all the time.
Oh, I mean, because it just makes it easy.
Oh, it's great, yeah. Oh, that would be fantastic.
Yeah.
But yeah, the question, part of it would be is like, what would you want to use it for? Because the hat of disguise would be fantastic.
Mm-hmm. A bag of holding. I mean, as classic as it is, imagine just having a bag of holding.
The tote of holding. Yeah, a bag of holding would be awesome.
Brilliant. This is tough. Shit.
Portable hole, gauntlets of giant strength. Yeah.
Oh my god, yeah. Imagine just being extra buff, or that thing that just makes like the amulet that gives you incredible intelligence, like 18 intelligence.
Oh yeah.
I'll just become a genius.
Yeah, I think there's I don't remember which one it's in. There's like an amulet of the drunkard, so you don't get drunk or whatever.
Yep. That's
and there's like a divining sword where you can find the nearest tavern.
Oh my god, that's brilliant.
There's a lot of fun ones like that. Like the wand of smiles would be great. But
you could
probably get your ass kicked a lot.
Oh, you probably would. But people might just get thrown in the fucking slammer. So just like, as they're punching you, like...
That's fair.
Like, he's nuts.
I think I think I have it in front of me. A lot of the stuff, the common magic items that are in Xanathars are fantastic for that. Because they're all just little kind of goofy stuff. Not all of them, of course.
Sure.
But there's some really, really great ones in there.
I mean, even then, like a cloak of invisibility. Just to be able to be invisible, walk around.
Sure.
I mean, anything that gives you flying or teleportation. I mean, like the conch of teleportation. Sign me up.
We all know the true answer is the cloak of billowing. Just
that's true.
Majestically enter any room that you go into.
You'll always get jobs for commercials. People hire you in a second.
Yeah, if I had to pick one, I don't know how to answer that question. There's just so many good ones.
Yeah, you got me looking through the whole fucking thing and just be like, I'm shopping.
Yeah,
I'm like, this would be cool. This would be cool.
Yeah, there's so many of them. We could spend such a long time looking at them.
100%.
That was when I was thinking about talking about magic items. That was sort of something I was going to bring up.
Oh yeah.
Of how not specifically that, but what we're kind of touching on now, how great some of the goofy magic items are.
Yeah.
And as a DM, I recommend just feeling free to hand those out like candy. Because for two things. One. The characters or the players a lot of times are going to forget they have them anyway.
Very true.
So it's not a big deal. And two, it provides for some really fun roleplay moments in when the characters can find really creative things to do with them. Because you can think it's a throwaway. I played in my Curse of Strahd campaign that I played in.
Lovely.
The DM just was like, here's a random fun thing. It's a never-ending string. It's like a spool with never-ending string.
Sure.
That's the only thing it does. It's not unbreakable or anything like that. It's just never-ending. And it got used so often. It was crazy. Yeah, it got used constantly. It was great. And it's fantastic to see how people can be really creative with something that you wouldn't think wouldn't have that much utility. Like you'd have to think about it. You give someone a cloak of billowing, how are they going to use that with utility? But you know what? Players can be pretty clever sometimes.
Absolutely. Like, number one, that could help with any intimidation or persuasion or performance roles throughout the campaign, because they're putting in the effort to... Or whatever, Like, I don't know, deception. Somebody's trying to make, like, a wind or an explosion look like it's a real thing with an illusion, and the billowing helps. There's something there. There. Oh, yeah. I mean, the immovable rod. That's something that can be used so creatively in the right
That would just be like, put that, instead of locking the door at night, just stick that in front of the door and you're good to go.
Exactly. I mean, precisely. Like, small things like that.
Yeah.
Tied to the anchor of your ship. You're not going anywhere.
If you're in Los Angeles or San Francisco or in a really steep, hilly city and you're really concerned about your emergency brake working, you just a movable rod behind your car. You're good.
Exactly.
That would have plenty of utility. And, I mean, obviously what you want are two, so you could climb with them. You click, click.
That's very true. That's very true.
Yeah. That's what you want.
Yeah. Oh, we got a question over here. Opinions on cursed and magical items that talk. Useful, interesting, or ultimately bothersome because you have to remember an additional character that travels with your party. Well, I'm just fucking used to that part, let me tell you that much.
Yeah.
But
you're all
no.
about having NPCs with the party, so
I adore it. I absolutely, a personality in a
Yeah.
weapon I think is probably one of the coolest fucking things. Number one, there's shit tons of lore. Number two, it's a great way to help your players when they're stuck, or to provide some small bit of insight to inspire them to think a certain other way. And then number three, it'll be like an interesting thing bonding with a weapon, and like it's this tool to kill kind of thing. And then you're starting to, like, I don't know, develop an actual relationship with them. And it's like, well, what do they think about it? Do they actually enjoy this? Do you have an opinion because you're just a weapon? What were you beforehand? What are you now? You know? And I mean,
there's a lot that can be done with that.
Oh,
Whether it's just something simple like a wizard enchanted an artificial intelligence into it, so it's simplistic.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, is there someone's soul trapped in there?
Mm-hmm.
Is there a devil's trapped in there? Is there an angel trapped in there?
Does it need to be tamed to reach its full potential? Like,
right. Can it be strengthened through experience or unlocked by some sort of quest? Is it part of your background? I mean, just off the top of my head, you could easily have, say, a character's parent or grandparent was a powerful sorcerer, and they, to strengthen or protect their child, like, change themselves into a weapon for them, so you have them with you, but there's this whole, like, they sacrifice themselves for you. I mean, there's a lot of cool stuff you could do with it.
Absolutely.
Especially if you don't have the same ideals as whatever intelligence is in there.
Exactly.
That's always fun. And then, of course, they mentioned cursed items as well. Those are fun. They're great. I don't try and do them too often, otherwise players won't trust any items.
That's a good point. And I mean, 9 times out of 10, especially, like, players can be extremely curious, and if you throw a cursed weapon there, where they're gonna want to get to the bottom of the curse. 9 times the next side quest is figuring out the sword, or you know, whatever it is. They're gonna want to master this thing or beat it.
Why is it cursed? How is it cursed? Can we uncurse it somehow?
Mm-hmm.
There's not really a whole lot in the rule books about removing the curse from a weapon other than using remove curse, but does that also strip the magic entirely from the item? Is it just enough to remove the curse? I've seen a lot of interesting takes on it. Because is it really that strong a weapon if you can just cast remove curse on it? You're fine. It's now perfect.
Yeah, exactly. Or, there was a really strong curse placed on it, and remove curse ain't gonna work. You gotta go and find the person that fucking did this.
Yeah.
And then ensues fantastic adventure.
I do like that it's already written in there that curses are not identified by the identify spell.
Mm-hmm.
I have let players, while identifying, make arcana checks to notice something is off.
That's smart.
About the magic.
Cool.
Just to give them a chance.
Yeah.
But other times I'm like, it's cursed. And they're going to find out eventually.
Oh, man. I mean, we're talking about sentient weapons. We were just talking about Out of the Abyss. Shortly before we hopped into Icewind Dale, you guys did end up finding a sentient weapon called the Dawnbreaker, which is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And it was a sentient, like, it was ancient sun worshippers, I think, that they created this sentient weapon because it needed to understand the dangers of the dark and the underdark, and to bring light down there. So the sword itself has this purpose, and it attaches to people that want to be able to pursue it. And it's just that's why it was created. So the sword itself has a goal. It has a sentience behind it. So it was a great item. Honestly, I do miss that campaign now and then. As much as I love Icewind Dale,
I'm really happy we got the stream going. Went up a little later than we anticipated, but that's also because of a million other things going on. And I'm so glad when it finally did happen and we started. Part of me did have that. I was like, man, kind of wanted to see where we were going with the Out of the Abyss.
Yeah, that's a great campaign. It really
there's
is.
some crazy stuff being hinted at in there, um, including like demon lords and stuff. Which it's like we're like way down here in the levels. Why are you talking about demon lords?
Yep.
Those things are, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like fighting a demigod.
Pretty much. Yeah. And I mean, I just would have loved to explore Menzo Barazin, but that's just me being a drow lover.
Yeah, no question. Yeah, we mentioned the Wand of Smiles before. I see the comment there. How much fun that is.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for the day where one of them finally rolls that natural one to switch into the Wand of Frowns. It'll be great.
No.
Yeah.
Which is also as fun.
Yeah, for a while I had a player that was like burning all of them to try and get it to happen, and it just kept didn't roll the natural ones.
Just making everyone in the town smile. Fuck.
Yeah, right.
Fuck. Everyone's happy.
Trying to do it to the shopkeeper who was rude to you, stuff like that. Which I believe got them kicked out of that shop and banned. But that guy was,
I would imagine.
Yeah. To be fair, I played that guy as kind of an asshole, so that was fine.
Great.
Their next magic shop guy was a lot nicer.
Yeah, I'm sure he was. If he wasn't before. Okay, we got another question. What we got?
Yeah.
Read it off.
Let's see. What are the most interesting curses you can incorporate into an item? Mariachi Dan liked ones that affect character alignment because you can play it obvious all at once or subtle over time. That's an interesting one. We could probably have a discussion about character alignment just in and of itself because there's a lot of different opinions on how to handle alignment. And to be honest with you, a lot of times it's hard to stay in alignment just as a person.
Yeah.
Because the lines between like chaotic good, chaotic neutral, or chaotic good, neutral good, and so on and so forth are fairly thin sometimes. So it's easy to bounce between a few of those. Now, if it's to shift you from like good to evil, like that huge shift.
Yeah.
The only thing I would say is make sure you've got a good group, because anytime you incorporate a huge shift like that in a character's mindset in a way that is going to put them at odds with the party, you either want to avoid it entirely or know that you have good players that can actually roll with that and not cause actual problems.
Yeah, actual problems with the people at your table.
Yeah, I know some DMs won't even run evil campaigns, or won't allow
an evil character at a campaign.
Or like evil associated races sometimes. Like,
oh wow,
you can't. Yeah, while
no
I think you can be a little bit more open-minded than that with some of the races, but they may not choose, like, don't do hobgoblins or Yuan-Ti or things like that.
Sure.
Which I can see how Yuan-Ti would be tough to play good. I have a player playing Yuan-Ti, and she's done a good job of having that still being in a party, but having some struggles, especially early on.
Sure.
With it. But yeah, if there's something that you're not comfortable with as a DM, don't force it. It's just make sure your players are clear what you want.
Yeah.
And like, this is what I'd rather you do. This is how I want to play the campaign. Is that okay with everybody? And that's the best way. We just got to talk to each other and ask each other questions.
Yeah.
But yeah, I kind of just rambled there for a bit. Most interesting curses. Otherwise, I mean, what?
Yeah.
What about for you? The alignment for me, I'm not crazy about personally.
Yeah. I mean, my opinions of alignment. I think alignment is a great tool for creating NPCs. And I mean, it's an age-old comparison. Everyone talks about it, but Frieza, Cell, and Majin Buu are the three different kinds of evils. You got your lawful evil, which is Frieza. He's a dictator. He wants to own everything else. You got neutral evil, which is Cell. He really just doesn't care. He just does his own thing, and he just wants to prove that he's the best. He doesn't care who he hurts. And a Majin Buu is chaotic evil because all he wants to do is destroy. And so, like, it's just a great idea to, like, follow alignment to creating, like, an NPC and their perspective on the world. It's a good starting point. But in terms of, like, characters and, like, changing the alignment of my players, if they're down with it, sure. But the thing that I'm worried about is that if, you know, there's a cursed item and, you know, they've discovered that their alignment has changed to, I mean, and this might just be me and my own insecurities, but to me that sounds like I'm telling the player how they should be playing from now on. And it feels like an invasion of their character that they spent the time to create and fun. Which, once again, that might just be on me and, like, my insecurities and, like, overthinking things. And the player might totally be down for it. But, yeah, if they're not, then I'm like, you know that person you wanted to play? Too bad. Kind of thing, you know what I mean? I don't ever want it to come across that way. So I guess that's kind of my opinion on that. If the player's down, fuck yeah.
Yeah, you gotta make sure what everybody's comfortable with and everything.
Yeah.
I would say ahead of time, so you're not asking them in that moment. Like, are you okay that I'm about to do this to you? Because that's not really the best time to do that. But,
sure, yeah.
Want to know the party and know your players and know your DM.
Yeah. I mean, to talk about, Mary, actually, to bring up a great point there, like having it over time or whatever, it could depend on the character. Like, there's, you know, a chance, like, you're starting to get really pissed off by this dude at the bar, and the player's just handling it as peacefully as possible, and be like, roll me a wisdom save. And if they fail, they blink for a second, they come back, and now this dude is on the floor with a fucking wound in his neck, bleeding out. And I have no idea how the fuck that happened. So, like, doing stuff like that and be like, what the fuck is wrong with me? That could open up a whole other interesting thing.
Oh, at that, I'm more on board for that, absolutely.
Yeah,
I think, over time and showing that change and even taking a little bit out of their hands in a way.
Sure.
I think that's a fun way to do it.
Yeah.
Just going back to the interesting curse question itself.
Sure.
I tend to. There's some really fun ones, like the Berserker Axe, that's also mentioned down there. That's very specific, and that's like you just start attacking people, and then your party has to, like, knock you unconscious and figure out what the hell to do.
Yeah.
Usually taking it away is a good idea, but there's more to it than that. I think the subtle things are fun, the kind of stuff that you could tell the player.
Yeah.
Like, text them, tell them off to the side, whatever. And by nature of the curses, generally they don't know they're cursed. They're not going to try and part with the item in any way. They want to keep it. So seeing if the party picks up on the quirks, I think is fun. I like the subtle curses, the little disadvantages they have, or say a curse that's anytime you have an opportunity to steal something, you're compelled to do it.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Or, you know, so on and so forth. I think those are actually a little bit more fun to me.
So, my first ever campaign where I was doing the two groups at the same time in the same universe. Well, not at the same time, but in the same universe. They ended up stumbling, like, just exploring giants a lot, and so they ended up in, like, an old-school Norse kind of temple, and then they stumbled into, like, Loki's kind of domain, and they ended up getting trapped inside this one area that was just basically a giant riddle, and all three of them got different curses, and I had them on a piece of paper, and it was like, only you read this, don't tell anybody else, and one person couldn't pronounce the letter S, and if they do, they screamed like bloody murder and would just run around like freaking out, so they could never pronounce the letter S. Like somebody couldn't speak in plurals, and then so like all the players had to like try and solve a puzzle, but they couldn't do this thing, and every time they did it they would like freak out, and so they were like trying to figure out what everyone's fucking curse was while trying to like piece the riddle, and it was fucking delightful chaos, and Loki was having the time of his life just watching these idiots try to escape like a square room.
That is
just from curses.
That is a very Loki thing to do.
Yeah. So yeah, I kind of fall inside the category of like fun small things, like subtle things like that, because the players take it off and players have fun with it. The players make it fun.
Right.
But,
right. Yeah. Yeah, I like the stuff that can they can they can actually build on and run with and have fun with, as opposed to just something you inflict on them. And there time and place for that, absolutely.
Sure.
I have had that happen to my characters plenty of times. It's just my personal preference is the subtle, the entertaining ones, as opposed to the you're fucked.
Yeah, 100%.
Though they have their place, they definitely have their place.
I'm trying to think of a an interesting curse to apply. I mean, once again, that would apply to characters as well, and like their abilities and what they tend to do. Yeah.
There's from one of my players that specifically they got the Berserker Axe at one point.
Oh yeah.
And it happened to be the Hexblade Warlock, so they couldn't take the axe away because it was
oh
her
my
axe
god,
blade.
right? Yeah, like you made...
take it away, it would like vanish, and then she'd like summon it back.
Oh, that's true. You got the Pact of the Blade, and oh wow. Oh, I kind of guess and
That's
Eldritch
what it was.
Knight
It
did
was
the same.
Hexblade and Pact of the Blade. That was
The Pact of the Blade that'll hold you to it.
It was amazing.
Ah.
It was fantastic.
Shit, yeah, that's kind of tough. You're trying to stop your friend from having a fucking addiction problem, and they can just keep bringing it back. Ooh, that's fucked up.
And that was actually I didn't even throw that in there personally. I was using from Tales of the Yawning Portal, the Shrine of Tamawachin. I probably mispronounced that. Kind of a bit of an Aztec feel to it, but one of the creatures inside had that as their weapon. They're like, oh, it's awesome. They had attuned to it, became their pact weapon. It's excellent.
That's beautiful.
It was so good. It was so good.
Yeah, I mean,
it's all right. They're not cursed. That was a long time ago.
Sure.
I think they still have it though. It's like sitting in their bag.
Oh, they just haven't dealt with it. They're just like, you know what? No, it sits in the darkness now.
It wasn't a sentient weapon or anything, so I didn't necessarily have it calling out to anybody. But you could,
awesome.
I mean, you could still do that. Realistically, I could have played, like, if they were in deep trouble, I could have had them say make a wisdom save, and there's like this residual, like, I know if I had that weapon, I could be stronger, and see if they pick it up again.
There we go.
That's the kind of stuff you can do with that. I think you can play with. I didn't in this situation, but I could have.
No. You know, what would be a really like an interesting idea is basing the curses about the type of creatures and stuff that you're fighting against. Like you think of vampires and they can't see their own reflection, and so the idea like you get a ring of a vampire, and you become instantly like more charming. Maybe you can alter your appearance slightly to like hide any kind of illnesses or effects or whatever, but you can never see your own reflection, no matter as maybe to other people they can see who you are, but you will never know what you look like.
Yeah.
At some point, which would be interesting. Or like the ring of the channeling or something. Like there's something along the lines of like you yourself will never know what it is that you look like. Yeah.
You can have fun with that. Not be able to like cross moving water or something, depending on what type of vampire lore you're going with. That would be like
true.
They're trying to like we have to make it over this bridge, and the one person's like, no.
Cast fly, asshole.
You can have fun with that.
No.
Yeah, Dan likes the idea of momentary curses and puzzles. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I think even if, like maybe certain limitations per room, like you had to solve a puzzle with these certain handicaps, would make for an overall amazing dungeon. Maybe that's what the idea of the Loki thing was.
Yeah.
But I think that's fun.
Shut up. That's brilliant. Oh god.
John Cena the vampire. I can't see me.
Oh my god. That would be beautiful. And every
amazing.
time you cast you can cast teleport with it, but every time you arrive it's the John Cena's theme music. It just plays.
It announces where you are.
He comes running in. That's great. Oh.
See, you know, the chat's always more creative than we are anyway. That's great.
Exactly.
Write down some notes here.
No.
There.
John Cena vampire ring. Got it. Oh, have you ever given a player an item and ended up regretting it or being surprised at the outcome? I mean, I made the mistake of the bag of holding way too early in the campaign. Solves a whole lot of problems real fucking quickly.
Yeah. I can see that. I could see it that way. Sometimes I have given characters the opportunity to get the bag of holding early on just so I didn't have to worry about, can I carry this? Can I do this? It's like, yeah, it's fine. Here, it's you got paid this and it's 200 gold or something. You can totally afford it at a low level. You're good to go.
Sweet.
And then I don't have to think about it as much anymore.
Yeah.
So but I get how it could be problematic also. Yeah. I mean, depending on the players, they can make almost any magic item be a concerning element to the DM.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, have I ever given players items and ended up regretting it? I wouldn't necessarily say regretting it, but being surprised at the outcome or it being used to more effect than I expected. Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
100%.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yes.
I mean,
I'm trying to think of another example.
I mean, I'm just at the point now where I know for a fact, my players during this campaign are gonna constantly surprise me. Annalicia has like slipped the fucking the rug underneath my feet a couple of times. Basically did it this last session, and she fucking waited for me to say one thing, and she's like, "Whoop, cool, this is happening now because I'm allowed to do that." And I was like,
"Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, fuck, you can do that." And it worked out.
You're talking about
perfectly, and I was
the way the way it's worded was perfect for it and everything. She did that. I was just like, that's fucking amazing.
Yeah,
it was really,
I was like so proud, and I was like, oh, I better get used to this. These people are creative, and shit.
And if you want the inside info on what the hell we're talking about, you should watch our stream.
Yeah, that's right. It's still up, and then it'll be up as soon as I'm done fixing up the sound for episode 9, which is looking grim. I'm just gonna have to come up with a different idea of how to fill in the information at this point. But
sorry, what?
Episode 9, we had that issue with the sound. The music was being really too loud, and no one could hear anything. And so I'm just sorting that out. This most recent episode came out fucking perfect, and I'm really happy with it.
Yeah,
thank God.
It's a shame because we had that great couple of great moments there at the beginning of that episode. So it's unfortunate, but it's okay. Bless you.
Thank you. Sorry, I had to mute myself quickly before I did that. It's a really strong microphone, and I didn't want to hear everyone to hear how moist that was.
See, I warned you about me having allergies, and I've been pretty much fine this entire time.
Yeah, right.
It's like you took that away from me.
I did. I stole it.
You can keep it.
Alien hands are really dusty.
Here's some tissue.
Thank you. Let me grab.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. I mean, it happens. Fortunately, I suppose, if anything, it wasn't a big story moment. So.
No, and I mean, it's gonna get patched together really well. Like, regardless of how it comes out, it's gonna be great. Like, yeah. If we can't fix it, we feature it, and then you just have a lot of fun doing it. People like fun.
The episode itself is on Twitch, right? No.
Correct. Yeah. Both episodes are on Twitch.
Pull it from Twitch. Okay. Cool.
Thank you, Bedlam. Appreciate you, sir.
I'll have to delay that.
Yeah.
Man, come on. That happened like 20 seconds ago. Give it the program.
All right, so this is gonna relate to like my second or third favorite class, and we are talking about technically like magical items and like incorporating effects and things like that. But the artificer, I do come back to that. Yeah, exactly. And I mean, for me, the part that I would enjoy the creation of magical items, etc., is through alchemy. And so the idea of absorbing these natural habits. I mean, we just talked about a ring that is imbued with the kind of power of a vampire sort of thing. And I would love that. Like, I don't know, if the idea of an alchemist who is yeah, you know, I mean, you know what? An alchemist, blood hunter multi-class, and going in the order of the mutant, where you develop toxins and things like that, and immunities inside your body, and so just the idea of collecting samples of bloods and things, aspects of other animals and these beasts and lycanthropes and everything else, and then developing potions and extracting aspects from them and using that to create your own magical items. I think that's a wonderful idea for like a character to start adventuring. I don't know where about. I don't know if just other than sheer fascination. Like
no, that's that's very interesting.
I would love that, because that's a great idea to, like, if you really want to start creating curses behind things.
Oh yeah.
Oh, good stuff. But sorry, that was just a brief moment of inspiration where I'm like, oh, this will be cool.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'll have to do that, or maybe even incorporate that. Maybe sometime down the line we do an evil, like one shot or something.
It is an option for you guys to roll. Where you guys, a full full old evil campaign, and then.
I mean, I love what we're starting off. I love what we're starting off.
Me too. Just simply because it's gonna be so fucking extra. Like, I don't think people are gonna care about playing D&D. People are just gonna be fucking with each other.
Everyone, watch for that in the future. We're doing that noir at sea, and it's gonna be.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
It's gonna be good. I mean,
I'm assuming it's gonna be great. I assume it's gonna be fantastic.
It is. It's gonna be delightful. Oh my god, an amulet of lair action.
Interesting.
See, that
amulet of lair action
is fucking brilliant. Especially if you start owning property.
Yeah.
You know, like you and your team buy a castle, and you're the creepy artificer who's just got his lab. Creating your own lair action. Oh my god.
Yeah, I mean, there's mechanics out there for developing a wizard tower and stuff like that. So having your own lair actions were something to attack you, that would be interesting.
I would.
That's odd. I never really thought about that. That's kind of the entire concept behind lair actions, anyway.
Oh, wait a second. Is there that? What is that spell that shit. So there's a spell, someone's crazy rope or whatever. A rope just extends up into a magical realm that you customize or whatever. That if you could like develop your lair action there and just somehow bring somebody there into that realm, and, like just teleport in, or the fucking genie patron for the warlock. You could basically work on creating your own lair action inside your lamp. So anybody that comes in there, you just immediately extra fucking bump. Somebody scries on you and you see them. It's just like, I don't know. There's a lot to work there.
Yeah.
This is an exciting episode. I want to make shit.
Isn't it just called escape rope or something? I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
Someone speaking of I mentioned our Strahd campaign earlier. We had a character that had that. We utilized it in combat one time because there was a concern about us surviving the combat. So there's like, let's hide up here and figure out what we're supposed to do. So that was fun.
Wow.
Oh, I saw that. Don't worry. I saw that I totally got called out by
rope trick.
The +2 plate mail at level 7 thing. You know, I made mistakes. You know,
they happen.
I made mistakes, but you know what? Some things can still hit you. So
yeah, exactly.
Rope trick.
Rope trick. Thank you, Riptide. Appreciate you. Yeah, that's a great spell.
Yeah, it is a fun little spell.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I honestly think I didn't think it would go like this necessarily, but I think we could continue on magic items like maybe next time.
I would love that.
I think there's more we can do if we focus in on magic items, because I did have a few things about talking about the legendary items and how to use them in campaigns and stuff, which is something I personally haven't done yet, but I have dozens and dozens of ideas of how to incorporate them for future things. I think they're fantastic, and we can talk about that and many other magic items for a while. But I know we're hitting our hour here.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, I mean, I would love episode 2 of Magic Items to go off on.
Yeah, we should. We'll talk about it next time.
Great.
And as proven today, if y'all want us to chat about anything, Please give us suggestions. Someone mentioned
Yeah.
wild magic, and we spent some time on that. And I think he even brought up talking about legendary magical items and all that. We're eventually going to talk about that. So yeah, we very much love the feedback and
Yeah.
other people thinking of stuff for us to talk about that's not us.
Exactly. Like, yeah, it's awesome. It's nice. A nerdy community to sit and chill and, have fun. Just have fun being nerdy and creative. Such as my personal magic item that I have. I think this is just a mere ordinary switchblade, but with the push of a button, it's a spork.
It's a spork blade.
Yes. In addition to the
no, a switch spork. Switch spork.
The gloves of reduced hands, is what I got for my birthday from a friend. There's a switch spork and my tiny hands.
Holy crap, that's amazing.
Yep. But hey, listen, don't be jealous. You can keep your inspiration token. I'm just gonna eat a chocolate pretzel with my baby hands.
I bet I'm a bit envious now.
I mean, I get it. I mean, that's why I only brought it up at the end. I didn't want that to be seething in the whole episode,
Legendary blade of feeding, Sporticus.
Wow. Sporticus. Now this thing has a fucking sentience. Let me tell you. Alrighty. Well, I guess until I guess next Sunday, 8 p.m. Sunday. Today's a Sunday, right?
Yeah, it's a Sunday.
Fucking hell. Yeah. Every Sunday, 8 p.m. DM chats, and then we're just gonna continue with magic items.
Yeah, we'll do magic item next time. And,
magic items part 2.
And what else we have coming up this week? Are you?
I mean, Monday Night Map Making is gonna be delayed. I've just got a lot of work to do. And then so Monday Night Map Making I think will happen around about 9 o'clock at this moment in time. But come the weekend, the edited version of The Cabin is coming out, and that's gonna be
the unaired like first experiment of the stream.
Indeed, The Cabin is
its debut.
Exactly that. It was a one-off that we did to celebrate the start of the channel, and we were still very green with a lot of our gear, and I was really nervous. Looking at the footage, I was like, "Ooh, little baby boy was nervous," but yeah, it's just great. All the characters play a level 2 fighter, and they are all themselves. Casey's playing Casey, Basie's playing Bess, Gabe is playing Gabe, and they're all going up to Casey's aunt's cabin in Rock Ridge, just a fictional town in California. And it's just a wonderful, fun adventure where you guys play yourselves.
We totally did great. Didn't make any mistakes. It was
none whatsoever.
Very straightforward adventure.
But the re-edit is showcasing a lot of the awesome miniatures that we did. There's a couple of scenes for like the battle map that's at the end of the thing, which is really cool, and just showcasing some of the music and some of the stuff that we got. A lot of it is still kind of rough because it's just the nature of how it was recorded, but we put a lot of fun into the edit, and it does look a lot better. And I'm just looking forward to showcasing how much fun we had. So that's going to be at our regular time at 1:30 p.m. on Saturday, and we'll be posting about it, of course.
Yeah, instead of our regular episode this week, we'll be airing that, and then back at it the following Saturday, right?
Back at it the following Saturday with the full team, and continuing it on. You guys are in a really cool area, so
I'm super excited. The description at the end of the last episode, I am so excited for whatever the hell we got ourselves into.
Me too. I have no idea how this is going to turn out.
It's all right. It's not like we haven't not taken a long rest or anything.
Exactly.
We'll be fine.
Exactly.
We'll be fine.
But I guess until then, my man, please look after yourself. And everybody, thank you for your comments and your questions and just nerding out with us. It's our favorites. So, thank you. We really appreciate it. And we'll catch you next time. Much love. Everyone stay safe. Please, I don't want to hear any bullshit stories about people getting hurt. Not you guys, at least. You guys are all cool. But then, until then, thank you, everybody. Cheers.